Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm your host Josh, aka Jammore, and welcome to another installment of Jammore Interviews. Today I'll be talking to the voice of Scorpion, Blaze, and Jax in the amazing video game Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Can I please have a rousing round of applause for the amazing, the talented, one of the best MCs around, Simon Northley.
What's going on? What's going on?
There we go. Okay, awesome.
All right, we working now. We working.
How you doing? How you feeling? How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm feeling with my hands. That's the only way to feel.
That's First off, before I get into the questions and everything, I'm just going to say thank you so much for joining me today. It's an absolute honor and a privilege to be able to have you on. I hope you enjoy your time here, so thank you.
Oh, not a problem. I appreciate the invite. Anytime.
So, I know that you're a rapper. You're most known for that. So I wanted to test your knowledge a little bit. I'm going to give you 3 rap quotes from popular rap songs throughout the decade. And you need to tell me either the artist or the name of the song. You ready?
Okay.
First quote. Put their brains on the wall when I brawl. Too late for that 911 call. Who said that?
I know this, and I know I'm going to mess it up. I know I'm going to jack it up. See, I immediately went to Ghetto Boys, and I know that's wrong.
DMX from Anthem.
Yeah. See, and I know DMX's DJ personally, DJ Nonstop. I should have known that.
Oh, that's so cool. Next quote. So while you're imitating Al Capone, Albert Neil Simone, and defecating on your microphone, who said that?
That's Lauryn Hill.
There you go, yep. Last rap quote. Bullets ain't racial, kid, they only hate you.
Say it again.
Bullets ain't racial, kid, they only hate you.
I have no idea. Who is that?
Mobb Deep, the realest.
I should know that. I really should know that. See, you're doing deep now. See, I shouldn't even. All right, okay. I see where we're going now with the questions and everything. I got you now. We good. We gravy.
Okay.
You stumped me on that one.
Some cool things that I found out about you while looking up some cool questions to ask you is I found out that you're the host of the largest running freestyle open mic session in the world, 606 Chicago. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I am one of the hosts of 606, and that started at Sub T in 1999 by the group The Pacifics, and they kicked it off for about the first 8 or 9 years, and I was there from day one. Those are my brothers. And eventually, they grew up, got families, became adults, and it was just natural to just let me go ahead and keep doing what it is that I do naturally, and that's to host and perform. So we've been doing it for the past 21 years, and we were actually switching over from a weekly every Tuesday to a once-a-month Saturday. And then COVID hit, and that ruined everything. But as soon as this crap is over, we're going right back to the regular schedule, and we will be getting it in. So if you're ever hanging around in Chicago on a Tuesday night, come through Wicker Park at Sub T. 606 style. We'll get it in.
To speak on your performing, I found out that you've been performing hip-hop since you were 12 years old. How did that all start?
Oh, man. That's a good question. Then I would have to tell you basically when I fell in love with hip-hop. I was in my grandmother's bedroom. We was sitting around watching her TV, and she liked watching CBS, and it was something like 20/20 or 60 Minutes on. I can't remember what it was. But they had this segment, and it was talking about what was going on in New York and how they were dealing with a lot of the gang violence and the poverty and the things that was going on that mirrored everything that was going on in Chicago. And the first thing I saw was some cats breakdancing. And I was just like, wait, this is completely new. This is different. And they look about my age. What is this? So I had to find out. So I got cousins all over the place. So I'm calling everybody. Did you see that CBS report thing? And it's called hip hop, and that's breakdancing. It's like, dude, where you been? I've been in Chicago. Tell me what's going on. So once they started telling me everything that was going on, because I got cousins in Brooklyn, I got cousins in Queens, and they was hipping me up on everything. So I was one of the first kids in Chicago to really know what was going on with the hip-hop scene. And the fact that it was another means to kind of not have to break somebody's jaw in order to get your point across, or to show you better than somebody else. It had everything to do with skill. You're breaking, or you're MCing, or you're graffiti, or you're DJing. Whatever it was non-violent. And you could still show how hard and how strong you was without shedding any blood. That was the most appealing thing to me, because I had been seeing violence throughout my days. I'm from the west side of Chicago, so every day, you never know. And that's going way back in the day, so it was perfect for me.
Shout out to Queens, man. That's my hometown. Shout out to Queens.
Much love, much love.
Yeah. Another cool thing that I think is amazing that you did with your two brothers, you opened up a hip-hop community center in Inglewood, Chicago. So how did that all get started?
Well, my brother Justin Gray, he had an idea that I had, and my other brother, DJ Most Definite, we all had this idea of one day owning our own hip-hop college, community center, something that we could teach the youth in the most grimiest neighborhoods how to deal with life. So we were trying to teach life skills through all 5 elements of hip-hop. And it just so happened that my brother Justin, he came across a building that he could afford. It was in the worst spot that it could be in, right off of 63rd and Racine. A lot of stuff going on around there. And I do contract work. My brother Most, he does contract work. So we were starting to just really help him fix up the place. And then he told us what was going on and what his idea was. And we was like, dude, we was just talking about this. And we was like, oh, we gotta do this. You gotta let us in on this. We gotta do this. And from that day forward, it's just been all groundwork stuff. We didn't get any aid from any government funding or anything. This is grassroots. We got it from our friends. We got people that was in the neighborhood that came through to help us build it. We spent out of our pockets, so we kind of got it to the point where we can get it in a little bit and actually teach the kids in the hood some life skill lessons through the elements. And it's also therapeutic, because at a point in time when we didn't have anything as far as after-school programs and different things to keep a child's mind focused on something positive, all we had was our mothers and fathers' records and an old record player. So we turned that into instruments, and it's the same thing going on right now. So what makes people think that it's going to get better if you don't keep a young mind occupied with something nourishing and positive? It makes no sense, and it's something that we all felt like we could do something about. We didn't want to just talk about it. We had to do something. So Justin got the building and we got to work.
That's a beautiful thing, man. I want to see more stories like that, because that must be a lot of work to have put in your own money and to keep it up and to be able to bring people in and just teach them something that's going to help them along the way as they grow up and get older. And that's just a beautiful thing. So I applaud everyone involved with that project. That's an amazing thing to be doing, especially in times like this, and especially in Chicago and just like impoverished neighborhoods, because there's a lot that goes on and people need to learn how to deal with stuff like that, because government, but also,
right. The government is whack. Let's just call it what it is. They ain't never been for the people.
Yeah.
So, but on the real, they paint Chicago to be much worse than it actually is. If you've ever been here, I'm sure you would have seen the most beautiful things that you could possibly see on this planet, let alone this country, in Chicago. But if you get pictures all over the place saying how rough it is, you're always getting shot at, it's violent, it's this and that. Yeah, we got that, but everybody got that. It don't happen 24/7. But you never see the beautiful things.
I was talking to someone from Chicago and how she felt about the narrative in Chicago, and she was like, it's completely messed up. They paint this picture that is just inaccurate. I've lived there my whole life, and that's not what it's really about. If you really went there, you see what it's about. And we just went to an amazing, deep conversation just about Chicago and just what it's like. So That's something that needs to be fixed. It reminds me of what people do with Africa, because there's like there's like when you see pictures of like these kids in huts or them starving, or when they show like ads and stuff like that, there's this
Right.
thing this narrative you build in your mind that Africa is poor, it's impoverished, it's trash. But if you've really been there, you see how rich and wealthy it is. You see the clean water, you
Yes.
see how people really live. Of course there's poverty and stuff like that, it's all over the place. So to just generalize
Exactly.
Africa as that it's just that bothers me. But
I get it. I completely get it.
my first question: how would you say your childhood influenced your career decision?
Heavily. Um, my uncles are actually part of a gospel group from back in the day called the Northley Brothers. So everything that I've been taught has come through family. My uncle had a band. My mother was in the band. I got aunts that sing the blues. Coco Taylor is an aunt. Gloria Hardiman is an aunt. I've been around music all my life. When I came out the womb, I was probably singing instead of crying and hollering. So it started from there. I just got a family full of artists. And everybody, there's a lot of us, everybody had their own little area that they really love. You got soul over here, you had some rock over here, then you got straight Beatles, and then you got nothing but gospel and blues, and then you got jazz and bird over here. All of those different elements I grew up around, so I can kind of say I'm well-rounded when it comes to different styles of music, and I just loved it, period.
Music is an amazing thing. That's why I make some of my own. My aunt was in a choir. She sang like people like TD Jakes and them, and she was around all those great gospel singers. And it's just amazing to be around that energy and hearing the stories. Like, just music is just such a powerful and amazing tool that people don't give enough credit for, in my opinion. But growing up, who were some influences for you? You come from this, family of entertainers, so.
Outside of the family, I was a big Marvin Gaye, Barry White, Curtis Mayfield. I love me some Lou Rawls. If you didn't have Lou Rawls playing at least once a week for me, I was not happy. So a lot of the old school stuff, Gladys Knight and the Pips, Aretha, Patti LaBelle, the classics. That's what I really gravitated to. Everything from Motown.
Love Motown.
And that Philly sound. It was a Philly sound too that I fell in love with, like a cheesesteak. It was ridiculously dope. You had to.
So I love Marvin Gaye. When you said Marvin Gaye, I was like, yes, let's go. Because I take so much from just his music. It's so amazing. I love every song I've heard from him. And oh gosh, I love Motown as just a group. They got some dope artists.
Have you ever checked out his acapellas?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you gotta Google up his acapellas and just sit back and listen. It's the most beautiful thing you've ever heard in your life.
Gave me something to do after this.
Oh man, it'll mess your head up. I'm telling you, it'll stir your heart and soul and mess your head up.
I look forward to it.
Yeah.
So, with you coming from like a family of singers and you yourself being a rapper, how did voice acting get introduced into your life?
Well, first, I'm an MC. That's a little bit different than being a rapper. I'm a master of ceremonies. That means I do all elements. And that came about actually from us having a session at Subterranean during one of our 606 open mic moments. There were some guys from Midway Video Games that worked not too far from there, right off of California. And they was just in the neighborhood, chilling, kicking it, little work party. And they happened to stumble into Subterranean because they heard the hip hop, the boom bap. And they sat down and they just started hearing a whole bunch of incredible MCs getting up on the microphone, one after the other, after the other, after the other. And then they were like, hey, we got projects coming up and these voices are exactly what I hear for certain characters. So they just started asking different artists, would you like to try out for something dealing with video games? Or have you ever done anything like that? So I was one of the crew that they asked. And I was like, yeah, I'm down for whatever. Once I got there to Midway, it was me and my cousin actually. And I ran into Supernatural. I don't know if you know who Super Nat is, but he's probably one of the dopest MCs around that nobody really talks about, but you really should know who Supernatural is. He was doing a project with them. So I go in there and they asked me to read for a couple of things, and it wound up being the video game Blitz the League. And they picked me for it. So we started talking and they started walking around, and I stumbled into where they were doing the Mortal Kombat stuff. So I looked in, and it's a big factory that they had, and they had the people in the little tight suits with the little white bubbles around, and they was doing the action scenes. And I'm like, oh, that's crazy dope. So I just said, get over here. And they was like, hey, why don't you come in this other room real quick? Let's just hear it. We ain't saying we're gonna use it. Just let's hear it. So I did it. And then they took me over to the Blitz the League game area. So now I'm doing the football game. And it was beautiful. They actually allowed me to really kind of get loose with the script, because a lot of that stuff I really wasn't gonna be able to say. You knew some white cat in the burbs came up with this hip ghetto jargon that just wasn't flying with me. And it definitely wouldn't have sounded right coming out of my mouth if you knew who I was. I say MF probably more than Samuel Jackson has ever thought about saying. So it wasn't gonna work. So I'm like, look, can I do it? I'll do it your way, but let me try to do it this way. And they gave me full whatever, just do what you feel. Just don't go too crazy. So once I did that, they was like, cool, come back over to the Mortal Kombat thing. They wanted me to read a couple of lines for Jax. So I read a few lines for Jax, and they were doing it for the Armageddon Mortal Kombat. And then maybe about a week or two later, they called me back in. They were like, would you want to do another voice for another character? I'm like, why would you even ask me that? You should have just been like, come here this time, this day. Don't ask me no questions. Just tell me when you need me. Stop
Right.
So I get there and they tell me to do the little script for Boss Blaze. Now I do the script for Boss Blaze, and I'm loving all of this. I'm like, look, I got an idea. I've been thinking about this Blitz the League game, and I kind of wrote something that I think might work for it. I don't know if you want to use it or not, but I did it anyway. So I played it for them, and it was called Play Dirty. And they was like, oh, we love it. We got to put it on the game. I'm like, yeah, cha-ching, another check. So, man, it just, after that, we all kind of became cool. I started kind of just being able to go up there and hang out without having to do anything. They had a big video game room with all of their games, stuff that hadn't came out. And I was in there all the time, as much as I could be in there, because I was doing DCFS work right down the street from there. So I was a child care helper. So I'm bouncing around and I'm trying to get my video game in, and I got kids jumping out the window and throwing all type of stuff out the window. I'm like, come on now, give me a break. I'm almost on the 30th level over here. You got to chill. I'm almost done. But it just snowballed into something that really I enjoyed the mess out of, and I never expected something like that to come out of hip hop, let alone me even thinking about doing it as maybe a career.
That's an awesome story. That's such a unique way to get introduced into the voice acting business, because when I usually talk to voice actors, they usually talk about I was in the theater, and then this agent saw me one day, or this agent told me this, that, and the third. But with you came from this hip hop background to really dive into these characters. And you did an amazing job, by the way. I just want to say, my favorite video game is Mortal Kombat Armageddon. I love that game so much. One of my all-time favorites is because of just how many characters are in it, and just the storyline. I can talk about it forever. We're gonna dive into it.
The storyline is the best one, I think.
Yeah,
I was so fortunate to be invited on that one, because I was like, hands down, the Armageddon storyline is the shiz.
I loved it. What does voice acting do for you that emceeing doesn't do for you, and vice versa?
It allows me to be silly. It allows me to be a bunch of different characters that probably wouldn't be accepted if I'm on the stage in front of a lot of people expecting hot lyrics. Okay? I'm not going to get up there and sound like Boss Blaze for a whole show. Nobody wants to hear that. I don't want to hear that. I'm not gonna be Jax for a whole show. Don't nobody want to hear that. Maybe for a verse here and there, cool. But once you've established yourself as who you are as an artist to your fans, that's who you are. And they want to see that. They want to also see you elevate in your skill level, but the core you, they constantly want to feel you and see that. With the voiceovers, you could be anybody that they put in front of you. And it could be the most serious cat, it could be the most mischievous person, it could be the coolest, most God-fearing person, it could be anybody. It could be absolutely anything that your mind is able to open up and create. That's what I love about the voice character thing, especially if they allow you to just experiment with it, play around.
That's the absolute best, because that's when you get the best product out of what they hand in front of you. Like, to go back to what you were talking about when you're talking about the script and how it sounded like someone from the Burbs before you had to be like, hold on now, let's turn this around. And that's just when you get the best from it. And I just love hearing stories like that. We're in the middle of Mortal Kombat March, and this is my initiative to interview as many people from Mortal Kombat as I can. So obviously I want to ask you, what was your history with Mortal Kombat before working on Armageddon?
Who didn't play Mortal Kombat? Who didn't play Mortal Kombat? I got into fights over Mortal Kombat games with my boys. And we was old enough to not be fighting over video games when we first started playing Mortal Kombat. But seriously, we'd go over there. I do music, so I was in a couple of different groups, but the one group that I was in was a singer group called Touch. And my boy Ty had his own crib, so anytime we went over there to rehearse, we'd always get over there a little bit early just to kind of, pre-game, get it in, warm up the vocals, which wound up in a screaming match, and then eventually somebody choking somebody because they want a katana, and they was like, no, I already called for katana, you got to get Baraka or something crazy. Didn't nobody like Baraka. But that's what usually happens. So from the very first time I even saw the game, Mortal Kombat, I was like, oh, I got to play it. And then I started seeing everybody else playing it, and you got to be the best at it. It was the same thing like the 2Ks. Any basketball game that came out, if you was a hooper, you had to learn how to play it. If you loved martial arts, you had to play Mortal Kombat. Period. It was hands down the best, and it's been the best for decades.
It's funny when you talk about getting in fights with your friends over Mortal Kombat. I get in fights with my little brother because we would play like Mortal Kombat X and like Mortal Kombat 9, Mortal Kombat 11. I play with him, and I would continuously like spam moves over and over again just to make him mad. He'd get so mad.
To get you in the corner, sleep, beat you down. Sleep, beat you down. Fatality.
Basically.
I ain't getting on that corner. I was so
and
glad
then he's like,
when Spectre and them came out, I was so glad because I was like, I got to get out this corner. Whoop, boom, I'm out. Can't do that with Jax. Jax getting in the corner, he getting worked over unless he grab you.
So that's a fun little story about me and my brother. He'd hit me and be like, stop. And I'd have to stop. Mom would get called and it'd be a whole thing. But yeah. Reminded me heavily of that. Out of the 3 characters that you voiced in the game, which character was the most fun for you to voice?
Jax. By far. Jax had more lines. Scorpion ain't say nothing but get yourself over here. I'm about to mollywop you. I'm about to break you off. That's all Scorpion said. Boss Blaze was about the business. He got straight to the point. I'm finna work you over. If you think you can beat me, good luck. Jax was a talker. He talked a lot of smack. I'm an MC. I talk a lot of smack. Jax, yeah.
So it's safe to say.
I don't like playing with Jax, but I love doing the lines for Jax. Too slow.
Yeah. He is too slow because I play with him in the games and he's like very heavy. He's very heavy, like sort of like a Shao Kahn character where he's just like moving slow, but his punches pack a punch, but he's extremely slow. Yeah.
He hit you like getting hit in the gut by Mike. You don't want that. Even at his age now. Did you see that fight? Dude, Roy couldn't even put his arms down. He was still holding his stomach.
Yo,
like
yes. Oh my God.
It
Listen,
was horrible. I felt bad for Roy.
I
I
did
wanted him to get a fatality so it could be over.
if I remember, that fight ended in a tie too, which was BS. But
Yeah, right.
we all know Mike would have. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, rest in peace, Nate Robinson, because he got worked over quick. Man, Nate, stick to hooping. Your boxing career never got off the ground like you did. You never got off the ground.
That Jake Paul fight was something, man.
It's supposed to be an exhibition, man. That's a poor exhibition.
My goodness. But to get back to Mortal Kombat, what is one memorable experience you have with the video game?
Playing it or being involved in it?
Both. You can say both. Yeah, both.
My most memorable moment playing it is when I went 26-0 with my boys. I was killing the room. They was mad. Man, they was mad. I was on a run. It was a nasty run. Now, mind you, I got worked over the week before. But that day, I wish I'd have had it recording. I probably would still be posting it on everything that I could post it on. It'll be that little section of your profile where they let you do the video, and it'll just be me. That was a good moment. One of the best moments as far as being a part of it was meeting the Toasty dude. The one that come out on the side. Toasty!
Yes.
He actually worked there. He actually worked there. That's not an actor. That's one of the programmers.
Oh, okay. That's dope. Yeah. Wow,
And
okay.
he is hilarious.
And very cool. The nerdiest of all nerds. He's probably king nerd, but very dope. That's my man, Brian Chard. Very dope dude. Very dope.
You get to meet Ed Boon?
Yes. And it wasn't that memorable. It was just, hey, what's going on? It was like, hey, how's it going? And then he went on his own way. I'm like, okay, let me get back to my business. It was quick. It was super quick. There was nothing like any type of extra conversation. I think there was a mission ahead, and somebody had to be someplace. I wasn't finna interrupt the flow.
I get that. Who are some characters in Mortal Kombat you wish you could have voiced but didn't?
Oh, wow. Baraka, if he had lines, I would have loved to have tried to come up with some type of voice to match him. Because he said nothing. But that would have been real interesting to try to come up with a character voice for that dude.
Morocco has more lines now in the more recent games he talks. So.
Yeah, right after they moved to California, now he got lines. I'm like, that's bogus. I could have been doing all of that.
Yeah. That's how it works sometimes. I want to talk to you about the Mortal Kombat movie trailer for the new movie. Did you see the trailer for the new movie?
I have seen it. Yes. Very
that trailer
dope.
looks amazing. What was your first reaction to watching it?
Before it came on, the first thing I thought was, please don't be hot garbage. I was really hoping y'all come back with something really dope. So don't jump out there and just have it looking crazy and just not right off the trailer. That would have just completely pissed me off. And I probably would have put my joysticks in the closet for a while and just not looked at my video console. But I looked at it and I was immediately like, yeah, this looks like it's going to be kind of nice. The first one could have been dope. The first one could have been so much doper than what they put out. But I do like what they're doing with it. I like the characters they got. I didn't like the first Sonya. I kind of like this Sonya. Very dope, though. Very dope.
Yeah, even though I'm a big fan of the first Mortal Kombat movie that did come out, it's not what it's supposed to be. Like we can all admit that it's very corny, very kiddie, very much cheesy.
Hmm.
Even though I did enjoy some of the performances, but this looks so real. Like in the scene where he starts Scorpion when he's walking and he throws his
Yeah.
harpoon in someone's head and pulls her down, and like cuts someone's like I was like, bro, what is going
Right, and you seeing them without their garb on at first, and you like, oh, that's such and such, and this is so and so. This is gonna be so dope. I'm looking forward to it. The 16th can't come fast enough.
Seriously, what is your favorite costume design for either character? Which is your favorite costume design so far?
I do like the Scorpion. I've always been partial to Scorpion, and it's that gold. It just reminds me of Wu-Tang. It goes right back to hip hop. It straight do. And as soon as you see it, that's the first thing I think of is Wu-Tang.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Scorpion looks great. All the costumes look great. They are very different from the first film. It's more realistic, more what they're like in the first film, more samurai-like. And I really enjoy that about it. What are you looking forward to?
Sub-Zero is going to be a beast.
Yes!
Ooh. Yeah.
I can't wait to see Sub-Zero. What are you excited the most to see in the new film?
The fighting scenes. There were certain fight scenes in the first one that I really dug, and then there was something where I was like, either it was too short or they could have did completely without those scenes. These scenes look like something that I remember when I used to sneak down to the Oriental and the McVicker back in the days where I could get 3 martial art flicks for the price of one on a Sunday afternoon. It gave me that feeling. And I was just like, yeah, the fight scenes is what I'm more interested in. I pay attention to the dialogue the second time I watch it. First time, I'm looking for the fight.
That's for me too, because like you said, these people that they have know what they're doing, that do their own stunts. The fight choreographer is really good, so I really expect the fights to be over the freaking top, and I can't wait. I really can't wait.
Yeah, this ought to be incredible. I'm waiting on it patiently as I could possibly wait.
Same.
Man.
For voice acting, would you be open to more roles? Because I don't see a ton of voice acting for your IMBD and stuff. Would you be open to doing more of it?
I would be open to do all of it. I really would like to do some cartoon stuff, just because I'm naturally just silly. I like to laugh. I like to try to make people laugh, and if I can latch on to a character where I could just not be Shadow or not be Simeon, I could be somebody completely out of the box. That's a little bit more like therapy for me, because then I can dig into whatever little character I pull out to write certain lines or create certain paintings with my words. I could put that in action, seriously, where I'm not having to rhyme about it. I can just play that character. The cartoon stuff is what I would really like to do.
And now let's get lead into my next question for you is, what do you want to do? What are some goals for your career that you want to accomplish in the future?
The ultimate goal is to have a hip-hop community center in every ghetto of every major city in America. That's my ultimate goal. And to teach the 5 elements of hip-hop and how important it is to every person's life now that hip-hop basically runs the world. People live off of it. People live through it. People want to be in it. They want to be around it. You need to learn the history of it first, why it even exists. You know, it came about because of necessity. We didn't have anything else. American-made, created this. And it's still going on after all these years. There's a reason for it. The core of it is not being taught. That's what needs to be taught, because it helped a lot of people. It helped me. It kept me out of a lot of chaotic situations. And it actually helped people around me, because if I didn't have hip-hop, I know I probably would have been in jail or dead, and I probably would have been in whoever's crib snatching whatever it is I need to snatch in order to eat. and do whatever it is that I need to do in order to make it to the next day, it saved a lot of lives, not just mine. And I'm sure almost every underground artist can attest to that. They would have been putting themselves in a real messed up situation if they didn't have hip hop.
Absolutely. Now we're getting to the fun parts of my interview. It's called Weird and Wacky, which is a segment where you have a minute to answer a series of random and wacky questions. The person, no one has gotten to 15 questions. The current champion right now is Ben Pendergrass, who has answered a total of 13 questions. Do you think it could be Ben?
Oh, yeah, I could be Ben.
Oh.
Anytime.
Okay.
That's right.
I'm going to start the timer in 3, 2, 1. Longest time period without taking a shower.
5 days.
Favorite book?
Oh, Invisible Man. Ralph Ellison.
Food you refuse to cook?
Spinach.
Least favorite food?
Cabbage.
A video game you wish you were in?
First Mortal Kombat.
Favorite movie quote?
I can't curse on here.
First movie you ever saw?
Oh, Cooley High.
Actor you wish you were friends with?
Sam Jackson.
Would you rather eat bees or ants?
Ants.
Superpower you wish you had?
Say again?
Superpower you wish you had?
Invisibility.
Favorite color?
Black.
Favorite brand of shoes?
Nike.
Favorite instrument?
Bass.
Favorite TV show?
Different Strokes.
You beat him! You did it!
That's what's up. That's what's up.
The new champion with a total of 14 questions answered.
That's right. Tell Ben, come at me. Come at me, Ben. What you got? What you got, B? You don't want this.
Yes. Now I'm going to go into my final question, and before I go into it, I just want to say it's been such a pleasure getting to talk to you. I'm having so much fun, the laughs, the stories I'm getting for you, and I'm really glad that you said yes and that you're on here, and just thank you so much, and I'm really...
Man, it's been my pleasure. I really do appreciate the invite. I can't get enough of talking about it, so anytime anybody asks me to, yeah, I'm down. So thank you again, and thank everybody that's listening to you. Share it. He's dope with it. He's knowledgeable about the MK. Trust and believe that. So listen to him.
What is your current message to the world during these current times that we live in? Obviously, we're in a global pandemic. There's a lot going on. Elections. There's a lot of mistrust going on. What would you say to people who are in need of hope?
This is probably the wrong person to quote, but in the words of Flavor Flav, don't believe the hype. It ain't all what they telling you it is. It ain't. And I used to be a manager for a COVID testing site. And for some months, it's not what they telling you it is. It's not. So be careful. Know that a politician, no matter what side of the fence he's on, is still a politician. And please, you can figure all of this crap out just by doing your history. America has a history. Learn it.
Absolutely. Well, Tom, thank you so much for being on here. Anything you want to plug before you head out?
Definitely. I got to plug 606 Sub T. We will be coming back real soon. We are also doing a Zoom telecast, open mic. Anybody that wants to chime in, we will be putting the link out on all of our personal pages. So friend me, message me, whatever, and I'll hook you up if you want to get on and rap with a lot of us, Chicago legends and some underground legends. We're going to be doing that. 1213 will be up and running as soon as we get the flooring done, because we got something special going on for all the shorties in Inglewood. Much love to my family in 90 Proof. Much love to the Garden Music. Much love to my brothers in Touch. Rest in peace, Mom. Rest in peace to my baby Brown Sugar and all of the rest of the fam. And I hope everybody out there spreads a little love. It don't take much to be nice, and it can be just as infectious as COVID. Try it.
Absolutely. All right, guys, that's the end of the interview. Thank you so much for coming on, y'all. Please go follow me. Got some dope stuff on the way. And
No
yeah,
doubt.
guys, I'll see you on my next interview. All right, guys, have an amazing day and please stay safe.
For
Peace.
sure. Chicago.